Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. The preliminary results are in. More readers are visiting eEditions. Those readers are coming back more often and they're reading even more pages, all thanks to our new free upgrade that focuses on the user experience. Today, Bridget Sibthorp-Moecker, Director of Audience. Bridget, you want to give a wave?
Hello.
And Shahid Ali, Director of User Experience.
Hi, everyone.
We'll take you through our exciting improvements and how easy it is to switch over. And really, it's easy to switch. With that, Bridget, I know you're really excited to share, so I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So before we get started, I've been working in the newspaper industry prior to Town News for 15 years. If you would have told me 5 years ago that eEdition would be this important now, I think I would have been pretty skeptical. It's been around a long time, whether you call it an e-newspaper, a e-magazine, digital edition, e-replica, whatever you call it, it is a digital representation of the printed product. Whether you're a news publisher, a magazine, or you have a special section, it's become a really important piece of digital transformation. And a lot of that happened, long before the pandemic began. It's just that need for transformation has accelerated. So we're at a place now where a lot of our newspaper publishers are reducing their delivery footprint. They are reducing the number of print days, same with magazines and other publications. And so the need for the digital edition it's just even more important right now. So pair that with the fact that there's a very different kind of feel to the eEdition product. So with the eEdition, we're never going to be able to represent the tactile feel of paper in your hands. But there is an experience about it that's very different. It has a start, it has an end. There's a finite number of pages. And we know from our research and talking to end users that it's the sense of completion and the organization and the love of the printed product that really compels them to read the eEdition. So it makes it very, very important to us. And the reason I go through all that is because we knew that it was very important to put some time and attention into this product because we really want our publishers, our partners to be successful. So we didn't want to just look at the feature requests and add a print button. We really wanted to do more than that and felt that this product was really important to put some time and effort into. So what we're going to talk about today is the culmination of months and months of work. Shahid and I partnered on this, and I was just blown away by what he did. We've had developers, we've had researchers, we've had data. It's all been put together to do the very best job we can of improving this product. So, but no redesign or no improvement can be really measured unless you have KPIs, unless you identify the goals of what we're trying to do. And so what we're going to do today, we're going to go through the goals. Shahid's going to talk about all of the research and time and effort that we put into the product. Of course, we're going to give you a live demo and show you. And then we want to hear from you in a live poll on what you think of all these pieces. So here we go. The goals of this eEdition redesign were to increase adoption among print readers. We want to get more people on the platform. We want to increase engagement as a path to improving retention because we know the more people use a product, the more likely they are to keep it. Engagement could mean number of pages, returning more often. And of course, we want to introduce our eEdition readers that are already on the product to multimedia content, bring different ways to bring the eEdition to life. So those are some of the things that we wanted to do with this redesign. And let's talk about how we'll get there. So one of the things that's really important in any big project like this is looking at data. And we didn't want to just look at what's happening now. We wanted to hear from users. We wanted to hear from our publishers, of course, and we have feature requests, but it was really important for us to make this user first to achieve our goals. So Shahid, you want to talk about how we got there?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Bridget, for that. For those that don't know me, my name is Shahid Ali. I'm the Director of User Experience here at Town News, based out of Houston, Texas. I'm responsible to oversee the UX for our digital channels and provide continuous improvement on those experiences, such as the eEdition that we'll talk about today. I also manage the mobile solutions and the development team, and that kind of plays a role in some of the stuff we're going to talk about today as it relates to the eEdition. This project itself has been very exciting for myself, and I know Bridget as well, because we know that this specific experience has such a dedicated user base that utilizes this every day. So part of this experience that was so easy for us was getting feedback, is really listening from our users because they were very vocal, which really helped us in understanding exactly what they were looking for and where we can bridge the gaps as they existed. So when Bridget and I teamed up, we talked about how are we going to, plan out this approach to move forward in terms of just understanding both qualitative and quantitative feedback. And we came up with a two-pronged approach here. First and foremost, as you guys can see on the slide, we wanted to understand how our users are feeling about the current state of the eEdition that we are providing to them. And what are the improvements that they would like to make within that experience itself? Where are we? Where do we need to bring in new features or enhancements? Or where do we need to fix some of the feedback or issues that our customers are saying that they're seeing? So that was one area of focus, which had a lot of good feedback there. The other area was also just us, Bridget and I, teaming up and doing some research and understanding in the overall landscape of a technology solution that helps give energy to a eEdition type experience. What is it that we can do out in the marketplace that can help our users utilize the features and functions better? So there was a little bit of research done, but in terms of feedback, this was the most useful in terms of getting information from the users. So we actually ran a survey in one of our with our customer Lee in one of their markets in Nebraska last year. They had a decent usage with the eEdition experience in order to get this qualitative feedback that we wanted to receive on the current state. And the purpose overall was, one, understanding how are they utilizing the eEdition today? What devices are they using? How often are they getting to the eEdition? And we really wanted to kind of understand from a feature function perspective, what is it that they would like to see or like to continue to utilize as it exists in the eEdition? So we asked some questions around ranking features and functions, just to kind of get feedback on what is it that's priority to our users. And then we opened it up and we had an open-ended feedback question, which really helped out in terms of understanding overall navigational changes or usability changes. And we just wanted to hear them out and ask them exactly what is it that they would like to see different. A lot of good feedback came in and a lot of time went into making sure that we're putting those specific open-ended feedback in different thematic elements. But it was really interesting and very, very helpful for us to understand what we need to do next in order to improve this product itself. So I will not bore you guys with too many slides. Like I said, as Bridget mentioned, we're going to go to the live demo, but wanted to quickly highlight some feedback that we did receive in terms of just asking the usual questions. And you guys are probably mainly aware in your own respective markets and industries in terms of the eEdition usage. We know that our eEdition users are avid eEdition users. 90% of them are reading the eEdition on a daily basis. So we know that they're very attached to this product, which is why they're very vocal in what they would like to see. The other thing that stood out here was when we asked them about device-specific questions, because we really wanted to understand what is it that we need to improve on as we think about the user experience. We can easily go to a desktop view and then try to work backwards. But if it is that a user is showing interest, in this case, 45% of the audience that surveyed said that they use their eEdition and the channel of choice that they like to use it on is a tablet. So we wanted to make sure that when we're thinking about the experience itself or enhancements, we're looking at it from the viewport of a tablet or a smaller handheld device, and then expanding out to a desktop or a bigger device. This way, we're always thinking, mobile first or tablet first view, rather than being responsive and trying to work backwards. The other thing, as you guys can see pointed out here in terms of us just asking them, why is it that they use this product? A lot of this goes into cost savings, which is great. And we wanted to also understand, what are they really satisfied with what they see today? Because it really gives us a gauge, a benchmark on where the satisfaction lies with the current product And if we were to make changes, do we kind of move that needle up, down, or does it just stay balanced? So we got some good feedback there as well. Now, in terms of feature and functions, we did ask them to rate a long list of features in terms of priority. And the feedback that we received was evident for us to kind of go about in two different ways. One, a lot of our users mentioned that they would love to have a dedicated eEdition app. And that's great because we've already made plans and we have started to combine support in our block systems for our Now apps. So our users can actually utilize the eEdition within the Now apps. We're working through enhancing the eEdition experience itself. The changes that you're about to see here are also going to make its way into the Now app experience. So this way, the experience is enhanced even in the app dedicated experience that the users are asking for. But outside of the dedicated app, our users, as they were navigating through the eEdition, had a lot of feedback and prioritization on features. A lot of this stuff already exists in our current state today, but we did receive a lot of feedback in the open-ended question in terms of how they're utilizing those functions and features, but sharing articles or pages or getting to the archives, making sure that they can easily get that paper or page out and print it so they can take it with them, or ability to search. All these functions were high priority items for our users. So we wanted to make sure that not only do we keep them, but we make sure that we are very transparent to our users on where they are and how they can easily get to them. So that was some of the feedback we received from them. But in addition to that, when we open it up to the questions around just get them giving us feedback, we did receive a lot of good feedback on navigational changes, overall usability and reading experience. So we kind of took that with us. One mention I'll put out there that we received that was resonating, and the feedback was users kept telling us that they would love to get to their puzzles pages faster in the eEdition. And we know that as part of the eEdition usage, a lot of users tend to go to the puzzles page because that's what they use it for at times after they've read, a couple of articles or consume news. So we wanted to make sure that we make it easier for them to scan and get right to where they need to go. So it's less steps in the process for them to get to that page. So we looked at that. We looked at navigation. There were some feedback from users around overall navigation between going from a replica view to a live article view for markets that are segmented. We have in our current state, our view kind of gives all of the articles on the same page. We wanted to look at how we can optimize that based on the feedback that we got from our users. They also mentioned about just navigation that tend to be in a couple of places on the pages in current state, how they have to go and enable the page experience or the page menu as an overlay on the bottom left today. And then there are menu options on the right side of the screen on the top area. There's also a menu bar on the top left. So we really wanted to take a look at overall usability and see how we can bring that all together. And then the solution here that we came up with was, we clearly understood that we need to have a major redesign of this product. We need to redesign the overall look and feel of the eEdition, but at the same time, we need to think about how can we enable some of those features that we've heard about in those surveys that we ran. So we looked at it from both of those angles in terms of just introducing new changes and features, but overall just making it a much quicker, scannable, and readable experience for the users. So with that said, I'm going to actually exit out of the slides and show you guys what the new eEdition looks like. All right.
It switches gears here. I just want to mention that really appreciate everyone's feature requests over time. We did take a lot of those into account, of course, when we brought this in here. But the funny thing is during all the surveys and all the research, some of the features requested we did have, but maybe the UI just wasn't easy enough or didn't make it clear all of the things that you could do. So the redesign was just as important as adding new features here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bridget. Yeah, it was, because we wanted to make sure when we're bringing together new features, how do we best present them rather than confusing the users? That is one of the things we actually noticed. So that's a good point, Bridget, that you brought that up, was in our analysis overall in the technology landscape for the eEdition. what we did notice was there are times when there are too many solutions or too many options out there. And sometimes too much is not good because you're confusing the user with a lot of different ways to cut, slice and dice the navigation, and they get confused. So we want to be very clear on the top items, which is why we had the question about prioritizing what features and functions they like to see. So what you're seeing here is the improved eEdition experience. And a couple of things I wanted to call out right off the bat that you probably already have noticed. The navigation itself is a streamlined navigation approach here on the top of the page. One of the things you'll notice, we have added a zoom slider menu. So in our current state, we have the ability to zoom in and out via clicking buttons. You can still do that with this option, but we actually have a slider menu that lets the user zoom even further back and forth and set their zoom state. And what's really cool about this feature is we've actually added the ability for the user to set their own zoom on every page. So you can set a default zoom level when you want to launch the paper, and that could be either fitting full width, which would be something like this, or it could go to a full height view, which will be a little bit more of a zoomed out version, so you can scan the full page as a user. But the user can actually set their own zoom level, and as they navigate through pages, it'll remember that zoom level for them. So again, we're giving the control back over to our users so they can make the decision exactly on how they want to view their eEdition. The other thing I wanted to call out here in terms of the zoom was as you zoom out in this new eEdition to a certain viewport, when the page gets smaller, zoomed out, we've added what we call page peaks. And what that does is it gives you as a user the ability to see what page is coming up next in the view and what page was prior in the eEdition, just to kind of give them an idea exactly of what the full spectrum of the eEdition looks like in terms of easily navigating and seeing what pages in the view. And this happens, again, if they're zooming out, letting us know that they are trying to scan more further. And if they say they've chosen to zoom in, that tells us that they're trying to read. And at that point, we really want to remove any distractions or any noise. So we go ahead and remove the page peaks for them so they can continue to focus on reading. The other element we added in the navigation was the ability to have a pagination purpose. And this is another item that stood out in the user feedback that we received. A lot of times our users were confused in terms of what the page numbers were. Now we have section titles on pages, which remain, and I'll go into that in a second. But this kind of gave an idea to the user exactly how many pages are available in that specific edition that they're looking at and what page they're on. And it also gives them another venue to navigate between pages. So just giving them different ways to get to the same end result. And then everything else that we felt we needed to have in terms of a feature function or a navigation opportunity, we've embedded it on the top right-hand side. So we don't have a menu navigation on the top left anymore. That is now moved to the right side as a hamburger menu. We do not have the page layout that in our current state is now on the bottom left, but now it's moved to the right. We just wanted to make sure that everything that a user can interact with is in one place. So they're not jumping off on different pages or different areas of the pages to be able to get to where they need to go. And that was one of the feedback that we received as well. So the page layout, instead of it being an overlay and a horizontal slider, it actually now takes over the full page, which gives a better scan of all the pages in that edition for the user, and they can easily scroll down and jump to wherever they need to. As I mentioned, the section names will stick. All that information is still the same. It's just the look and feel of the pages is more of a full page layout rather than a overlay that shows up. The other thing I wanted to mention that you probably noticed on the bottom, we have an ad slot that can be enabled, but this ad slot is actually a dismissible ad slot by the user. So going back to user experience again, and making sure that we give the control to our users, we can enable ads in here if you choose, but if the user really wants this section to not show up, they can easily dismiss the slot completely and it'll remove it, giving them more access to the paper itself. And it actually will stick around for a full session of 24 hours. So if they come back the next day, they may see it again. And all they have to do is if they feel like it's intrusive, they can go and X out. And then in the navigation, we've added a specific button to jump our users to puzzles. Again, based on user feedback that we received, we really wanted to make sure it's an easy way for them to jump into the puzzles page. By clicking on this, what our algorithm that we built does is it's actually looking for a page that's section titled puzzles in that day's edition. And once it finds it, it actually clicks to that button behind the scenes and then lets the user jump right into that puzzles page. Another easy way to just get to where they want to go. And the other thing I wanted to point out
Actually, Shahid, I'm so sorry. Can I jump in?
Yes,
we
please.
had a really good user question on that. Just to go a tiny bit deeper. If you look at the URL of this page, you'll notice it's eEdition/puzzles. There's a section tag assigned to these particular pages. And that's how the environment, the puzzles button knows to jump to that page. So that's an option, or you can link it out to an interactive puzzles page on your site. Sorry, thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bridget. And then one thing I wanted to point out in the navigation itself was another feedback that we received from our users was some of the features and functions in the current state, even though we have iconography to help portray what those are, but our users were a bit confused sometimes in where the search function is or if there's a print option. So we wanted to be very transparent and very clear, which is why we actually added caption under each one of these icons to really let them understand what that icon really means for them. So all of those functions that currently exist today, access into archives is available for the user, more of a modal pop-up rather than a slide out, ability to print current pages or the full edition itself, that's also available, just a more streamlined user experience and layout in order to get to those options. And then in the menu itself, in the hamburger menu, there are the same options available for the user. And this was very interesting too, because we wanted to make sure that we're able to enable these functions for users and their different behavior that they have. And some of the open-ended feedback, we got feedback from users talking specifically about navigating to the hamburger menu and accessing information. And we had other users that talked about accessing information from our top navigation here. So we didn't want to do one navigation point of view away just to keep the other, because users have different ways of behaving, and we wanted to make sure we give them multiple venues to get to the same solution. So we kept it, just made sure that it's all in one place rather than being jumped around on different areas of the pages. So that's the navigation overall, and the streamlined navigation view. One thing I really wanted to point out that's a big change that I really like a lot is the ability to go between a replica to a live article view for a user. So as you guys are already aware, in the current state, that's an option in the menu that the end user has to choose to switch between the functions. In the new eEdition, it's just a matter of clicking on a segmented article, and it'll open up a overlay 50-50 split and kind of show you exactly what that live article view looks like. And this live article view is specific to the article that the user clicked on. So if they want to go ahead and navigate to another article, they can do that either by interacting with the left side of the page, which is the replica view, and it'll just jump to that article. Or they can also navigate in these two options that we've added on the bottom of the page, which if they're reading the live article view, they can just go previous or next and then jump between articles. And it's a full article that they see rather than multiple articles, which was a feedback that we received from a user that was a bit confusing for them to navigate. And then with that, I kind of wanted to show you guys just real quickly on how this would look on a mobile device. So I'll just switch the screen view in a mobile layout just to kind of show you as the screen gets smaller, what happens to some of the navigation options and what happens to the overall functionality. So you'll notice here, we have, with space being limited and real estate being limited in the navigation, what we've done is we've ensured that the pages overlay is always persistent to the user, even in the smallest of devices. And the ability to jump to puzzles is there because this is what they've told us is one of their top items that they wanted to see and scan. The zoom options actually become buttons, but since this is a handheld device, users can pinch and zoom with their fingers, whether it be on tablet or on mobile. So that's all accessible as it is today. The rest of the items are in the menu navigation. So they can access everything else as they need, even on the smallest of devices. None of that goes away. And then if they want to utilize the live article view, on the desktop version, you saw it was a 50-50 split. On the mobile view, it's a full page because we wanted to make sure that we are ensuring the users can read the article itself. So it takes over the full screen. They're able to go back and forth between articles, again, utilizing the same navigation on the live article view, as well as just Xing out and then going back right to the replica page itself, and then being able to navigate through those pages. So that's the view in mobile, and it goes into tablet. It'll continue to increase. And if there's a landscape mode, we've ensured that more of the desktop view comes into play, and there's those page peaks. But at the same time, the user can set their own zoom level, as I mentioned, which will just ensure they're getting the experience and the viewport exactly how they want to see it. And then going back to the desktop view, I do want to mention that in our current state, we have some navigational help cues and help screen. We will have that as well for our users in the new eEdition as well. This will kick off if it's the first time they're seeing this new view, but they can always go and enable that help screen, which will help explain some of these navigation functions that I just went through a little bit more in detail, and they can go step by step. So this way, if they forget something or if there's something they need information on, we have these help screens for them as well. So we've been running this eEdition in a few markets on our side, wanting to test this, make sure we get some feedback. And as Sherry mentioned earlier, we have some preliminary results. So I will go ahead and hand it back over to Bridget to talk about some of the results we're seeing.
Thank you so much. I am super, super excited about this. And wow, we have some amazing questions going on in the Q&A. I really appreciate the feedback. This really makes things really, really exciting. So since you've seen the live demo now and you've gotten kind of a rundown of the features, we would like to do a quick survey. Then I'm going to talk about the results that we've gotten from the beta. So we'd love to know, based on first impressions, what you've seen so far. What do you think? Which of these features are you most excited about? So if you'd like to go ahead and click there, we will rack up those totals. And while you're doing that, I'll just talk about the beta results. I couldn't be more pleased with what we've seen so far. So if you remember, at the top of the call, we talked about those goals. We want more people to come back. We want them to come back more often, increase that engagement, and increase the opportunities for multimedia. So I'm really excited to say that these preliminary results with the beta test on Richmond in particular, which will have a really great case study coming out, 26% more readers are visiting the eEdition. Some of that is a function of marketing, but of course, people talk to their friends and they may see all of the different features that you've got in the ads. And so that's really, really encouraging. That's a huge jump in the number of users. This one is really big. Readers are coming back 56% more often to these eEdition pages. So these subscribers are coming back more and more because they love the experience so much. And they are viewing more pages every time they come back, 45% more pages. So this is really, really encouraging. We're really excited about it. And it's exactly what we hope to do, is increasing that engagement and loyalty behaviors. So of course, since we asked users in the beginning what they'd like to see, we got that user feedback. We were also really excited to get some direct feedback from end users after being on the beta. And so here's just a couple of pieces of feedback that we've gotten. Of course, changes is difficult sometimes if things are in a new place. It's a little bit of an adjustment, but we were blown away by not only the loyalty metrics, but the kind of feedback we heard. So really, really good feedback from the users. Really excited on these quotes here. I won't read them all to you, but as a guy who likes to browse through the paper rather than be a page flipper, I find it a great improvement. I mean, just the way that people interact with it, things like that, allowing me to access when I'm out of the area. I read on the iPad. Thank you for moving this forward. This is great stuff.
Okay, we'll keep the poll open so people can still get a chance to vote. But right now, 34% say their favorite is the easier, cleaner navigation, including the page orientation,
Excellent.
followed by the new live article view. That's exciting.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. We just wanted to give you sort of one more rundown of what these features are and talk about how you can take advantage of the new eEdition redesign today. So rundown, here's kind of a list of the new features and functionality you can take advantage of today. And I know the saying is there's no such thing as a free lunch, but if you're already on Block's eEdition, this is a free upgrade to you. This is something that is a skin. It is a really easy change. There's a little bit of configuration, like if you want to upload your logo to be on the top left, a little bit of setup with that puzzles button, depending on the behavior that you'd like. But it's a really, really easy transition. So we would love to help you with that. There is help documentation on our website. So if you've got somebody in-house that knows blocks, then by all means, you can go ahead and do that today. Otherwise, we are happy to help get you started on that. There is one thing that you'll definitely need our help with. If you would like to work on the QR codes, that is still a feature in beta testing. So there is a little switch that we have to flip for you on the back end. So with that, or with any of the upgrades that you see here, if you have any questions, if you want to know how to hook up segmentation to the live view, if you want to know a little bit more about the setup, we are here to help. All you need to do is put in a ticket to get started and put eEdition redesign in the subject line, and we will get you some help as soon as possible.
Bridget, you mentioned the QR code, so that was a good mention in terms of, like you said, it's in beta right now, but I do want to show how it presents itself in the new eEdition.
Very good.
And some of the hard work that's kind of gone behind the scenes in getting that QR code to function itself. So from a QR code perspective, and this specific market has it on the bottom of the page, so I'll zoom in a little bit. We actually have an algorithm that we've built that runs in the back end and looks for an actual QR scanner that is existing on a page. Once it finds it, if there is an embedded URL behind that, it'll take it and then put a clickable element around that scanner itself, or that QR scan. So as a user, we really wanted to make sure, if you get the paper in the print view at home and you're looking at the paper, great, you can take out your phone, you can scan the QR code and get to wherever the QR code is trying to direct you to go. But if you're on the eEdition, we would hate for you to take out your mobile device if you're viewing the eEdition on your tablet and have two devices running at the same time. So we've added click functionality behind these QR codes. This specific one takes the user to a lottery page that's embedded within it. So it's just a simple click and the user is driven off to that page. And this can be used in either content that you can use to drive back to your sites, or you can have it used in ads that can drive out. As Bridget said, this is in beta, so we would have to just make sure that some of the functionality is specific in how it's going to read. But this is a very, very exciting feature that we're bringing to market as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Shahid. Boy, we have a lot of good questions, and this makes it so much fun for us, you guys. I really appreciate it, so keep them coming. I've been trying to respond to them by text, but I'm going to do it verbally now since I've gotten a couple more. So Elizabeth asks if there is any interactivity available on the ads. The answer is yes. If you have an eEdition segmented today, it's going to read the ad and look for a URL. If a link is present in that ad, whether it's a promo or whether it's an advertiser purchased ad, it's going to link that ad automatically to the link it sees in the ad. We are looking at a future update that would do that on the replica view, on the just page view without segmentation. That's something we're looking at in the next couple of months here on our feature request list. But for now, if you're segmented, yes, and that should automatically happen.
So Bridget, that would be considered hot linking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, I think so. And who asked about links?
And you can hot link not just ads, but you can add videos and other things
right.
to your links, correct?
That's right. Yeah. In the live article view that Shahid was showing you, if you have a video attached to the live article, it will show a little mention of the video, and it's like a thumbnail and all that, and you just click it to view the video. All right, ad blocks available through Google Ad Manager with custom targeting. These are, there's a lot of options with the ads. You can choose which ones you'd like to turn on and off. We showed you the one at the bottom that's dismissible, but there's additionally some other ad positions that can show up on the page peaks. Lots of options with that. If you'd like to put in a ticket with us, we can show you all of the options and you can choose what you'd like. We can help you get all of that set up.
There's a way to not have ads on the eEdition, correct?
Yes, all of it's completely optional. Was there a home button anywhere? James asked. So the logo takes place of that little home icon we used to have on the old eEdition. Can we get a copy of the survey? So absolutely, we can give you some high-level information on the results of that survey. And, we could even share the questions if you'd like to run that survey in your market as well. We feel like the more information we have, the better on all these things, especially as it comes to feature requests. Now, I do want to take a second to talk about feature requests, because in the version that we have today, we had feature requests for multiple papers and multiple titles, for a print button, for some of these other features and functionality that you see here. Of course, the biggest change was just the redesign itself and making everything easier to use. But the way we're approaching feature requests, since this is a brand new product, is we are writing down each and every request that we get. So I have a spreadsheet of everything that we're seeing, and we are taking a very scientific approach based on user experience, the kind of data that we see in the numbers. So if you have a feature request, please send it. We would love to hear it. We are going to prioritize them based on essentially the revenue potential, the engagement potential, those sorts of things. And we really want to prioritize the dev time based on the number of users or number of publications that are asking for it. So we want to make sure that we're doing the things first that are going to benefit everybody across the network. All right. We are not a current eEdition user. What does access control look like? Is there a daily subscriber eEdition available email? Does it have a login key or require user log? Okay, lots of good questions in there. We have a lot of built-in connectivity with the other Town News solutions on Blocks. So if you have the old Subscriptions Pro paywall, or if you have Audience Plus, the dynamic paywall, you can put a paywall, a hard paywall that's customized on your eEdition, and they have to either purchase or log in. So the user does need to log in to access it, otherwise we don't know who they are. But we've really made a lot of improvements to log in. And there's even an email me a login link feature, similar to what you've seen on New York Times and Washington Post, where you click a link and you go to your email and you get right in. With our email reach product, we do have an eEdition newsletter that the user can click. We deliver it right to the inbox. The user can click and get right into the eEdition.
Bridget, for current eEdition users, about how long will it take to switch once they put in a support ticket?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do is put everybody in a queue, and it will be kind of first come, first serve. As we said, it's very easy to change, but you do want to give yourself a little bit of time to give your subscribers some notification that it's changing. What we've seen is that if you send them an email or even put an ad in print, it will let them know that it's coming and get excited about the changes. With that said, it's a really easy upgrade. It's a skin and a couple of clicks. So I don't want to promise a date. I think a couple of days, unless everybody in the whole world sends their request today. It's pretty quick. So, but we would love you to think about that sort of promotion and make sure your subscribers aren't sort of surprised by the change and think something's off.
Is there a standalone eEdition app, or does the Now app support mean users access it through a Now app?
So it is a combo app with the Now app. It is a WebKit view today, which just means it's the exact same thing that you see on a mobile web device inside of the Now app. The nice thing about the combo app is that you don't have to get your users to download two different things. There can be a lot of confusion between two different apps. And Shahid's making some really, really exciting improvements to all of our apps later this year. So that's going to improve things even more.
So, Bridget, if someone doesn't submit a ticket to upgrade, the changes won't take effect?
Correct. So there's two options. You can either put in a ticket, we can help you to upgrade, or if you have someone in your team that has blocks access, design access, then we have a help document that it outlines exactly what you need to do. So you can do it yourself too.
So they control when the changes take place?
Yep, absolutely.
Do you need to have total CMS for these features to work?
So you have to have, well, no is the short answer. You can have a standard non-segmented eEdition that's basically just a PDF with the really nice navigation that you saw. Now, if you want to have the live view where you click the article and it shows the updates and videos, you do have to have it segmented. There's a couple of options. If you have TCMS, this is automated. It makes it really, really easy for you. If you don't have TCMS, we have a couple of options there too. We have a third party that we can hook you up with that can do those sorts of things in the back end, or you can do some of that segmentation on your own within blocks.
Bridget, can you explain what segmented means?
Sure. It's a fancy internal word, meaning that within the context of the newspaper page, each article is kind of its own thing. It's its own segment or cutout. You'll hear different words here, but all it really means is that instead of it being a flat image like a PDF, it's if it's segmented, that means the articles can be clickable in live.
What does printing look like? Many of our users print the puzzles. And can you print individual pages?
Yes. Shahid, would you like to pull up the print options?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we have a couple of ways you can do it. You can print a page, you can print the whole edition, you can download it, and we have the new clipping tool. So here's the basic print options.
Yeah, so if you went through the current page, it pulls it up as a PDF option, and then you can send that PDF directly to the printer as a single page. If you choose to have the full eEdition for that day, it'll quickly scan, download it again as a large PDF file that you can then send all of it. This one has 41 pages, and you can send all of it to the printer. So either way, it's up to you.
So then you can download for offline reading.
Absolutely. Yep.
Another thing you can do is the new clipping tool. So this kind of brings back, I think, memories for me as, having a certain article that I wanted to clip out of the paper or even a coupon. And that's exactly what you can do with the clip tool. You can select an area of the page and you can either save that image to your device or you can print it or even share it.
Are there additional charges if they switch to this new look?
The new look is free. If you are already on Blocks eEdition, this is an absolutely free change to you. If, however, let's say you were not segmented, you just had the replica view, you can upgrade for free. But if you wanted to do the live view with clicking the live article, if you don't have TCMS, there are options for us to handle stitching those things together, and those would be additional charges. But the new look that you see here, there is no additional fee if you're already on Blocks.
Can we look over the new interface before going live with it?
So it is an immediate change once it's made, but typically what we do is we recommend working on it in the afternoon. In just about every case, the peak of subscribers being online on the eEdition is 6, 7, 8 a.m. local time. So if you do it later in the afternoon and make that change, you're going to see the changes right away, but you'll have far fewer users actively on the eEdition at that time. So you won't be disrupting anybody's. There will be very few people on there for their experience to be disrupted.
The new look has more branding for the sites, right? It's no longer branded to Town News.
Oh, no, it is not branded to Town News. Nope. The option is to put your logo in the upper left, and just everything you saw there would be your paper.
What else can
magazine.
they customize to make it more of their brand?
Oh yeah, we have one of my favorite customers, Nick Stevens from MPG. She has the top navigation bar customized. You can change the color. There's a couple standards, or you can change that color to match your site colors, and you could do like a reversed out logo. That's pretty much it in terms of the customizations out of the box. But as you can see, we really wanted to keep the interface really simple and clean, so your paper really shines.
Can you share the help doc, or do I still need to create a ticket?
Oh, we can absolutely share the help doc. It's live on the site right now. Cherry, what's the best way?
We'll send it out with the recording.
Perfect. Like that.
How does someone get a hold of us to get a demo?
So there's probably putting through a ticket is the best way to get that started. You saw the demo here, and we will have the recording as well. But if you'd like a private demo, we could certainly work on that.
How does it handle it if the edition has both segmented stories and PDF pages?
So yeah, if you have a segmented story, it will be clickable, and you'll see that really faint little blue triangle. If it's not clickable, if there isn't a live article attached, the user will just see sort of a PDF view. They will see sort of a cutout of that section. They just won't see the live article view if it's not hooked up.
So for the live view, if we have the article assets already posted before we post the eEdition, will it automatically link them? Depends
on if you have TCMS. For those kinds of questions, I think it would be good to put in a ticket and let's talk through your exact situation to make sure that we get you the right answers.
Great. And then we'll wrap up with, can you just give a review of how to transition to the new eEdition?
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 ways to transition. Both are free. First way is if you have somebody on staff that has blocks access, there's very little customization needed, very little tweaking. It is a skin that you change, and it is like a logo update and a couple other options. We do have a help doc that Cherry will include in the video that we send out. So that's option 1, you can do it yourself. Option 2, if you'd like us to help out with that, we'd be happy to. You just put in a ticket and put eEdition redesign in the subject. We'll add you to the queue, just because if we get everybody asking it the same day, we can't do everybody the same day, right? But we will get through them as soon as possible. We do want you to think about the marketing to your end users, to your subscribers, though. So you want to give yourself a little bit of time to think about your communication plan, just so that they're not surprised on launch day. The feedback has been great, but subscribers like to know that a change like that's coming. And if you want to, the case study that we'll link to as well talks about how the richmond.com did a little bit of prep work to get everybody excited about it. So Bridget, I've shared the results of the poll. Thank you everyone for participating. Definitely the easier, cleaner navigation is the winner. Everybody's really excited about that. Excellent. Thank you everyone for the great number of questions. If we didn't answer your question, feel free to reach out to us and we will get that answered for you. There are lots of ways to stay connected with us. Documentation, we'll send that link specifically for this, but if you're looking for something else, you can go to help.townnews.com. It's been refreshed recently, and so it's got a lot of great information in there.
You can also contact us at support.townnews.com or call our 800 number at 800-293-9576 at any time. You can reach out to the community of other users at community.townnews.com. That's a great place to find out who's doing what, how it went for them, ask questions. People give a lot of great ideas to each other. You can check on the status of our servers at townnews.status.io. And you can follow us on social media. We're active on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and we have our YouTube channel. Bridget, is there anything you want to add?
I just want to say thank you all so much for your participation. It makes it even better for us, not only that you guys joined and took the time out to do it, but that you asked really great questions. So thank you so much.
Shahid?
No, I just wanted to say we are very excited to get this product rolling. We've done some really good due diligence on it, and we're hoping that your users appreciate it as much as we have building this product. So thank you.
Readers definitely love it. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. Again, reach out to us if you have any questions. Put in a support ticket for anything, and we can get back to you and get you some help. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.